Okay, hi guys. Welcome again to TLS Real Talk. Okay, as you know, for this series, we will invite a few athletes, our national athletes, also pro athletes, to join our podcast and share on their views. And of course, we'll be discussing on mental resilience or mental toughness. And today we have the special guest. We have Muhamad Ridhwan. Yeah, our local born Singaporean. And of course, he just a brief description on Ridhwan. Is it okay for you?
Yep, sure.
All right. Okay. He actually represented Singapore, if some of you may know, in 2011, 13, and 15, right, in the SEA Games.
29, 11, 13, 15.
And
4 SEA Games, yeah.
And of course, he contributed in the medal tally, which is, wow, very proud, man. And of course, soon after, you actually turned pro, right? And amazingly, this is very a proud moment that you actually won international title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's really what a feat as a individual athlete in Singapore to do that. And I can say that's your first. You become the first Singaporean, right, to win the international world title.
The first Singaporean to win an international title, yes. But
Awesome.
not the first one to win a professional
Right,
title, no.
right. So basically, Ridwan, you are, of course, you're an athlete, a pro athlete, and you also act as a coach, boxing coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you co-owns a gym called Legend Fight Sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's an athlete, also he's an entrepreneur, which is, so let's not further ado. Our first question, I will actually ask how you actually manage your time with being an athlete, an entrepreneur yourself, and also your personal life.
I mean, okay, for me, basically, I think everybody should know the answer to this question. It's basically about time management.
Right.
I think it's something to do that everybody has to be honest with themselves.
Mm.
They know best what to be done, what they need to achieve for the day, for the week, for the month. And as an athlete, it's pretty much quite standard. What am I supposed to achieve in terms of training, like the morning
Right.
runs, the afternoon sessions. So I mean, I used to like to have like a certain period of time where I am fixed to be doing training or stuff like that.
Mm.
But having a business also is also a little bit difficult to have a fixed timing to do training. So I'm quite flexible as long as I finish the 2 or 3 sessions of training a day.
Right.
So everything else revolves around the training, like managing the gym, because I have Legends by Sport, I have
Yeah.
Habit SG, a strength conditioning gym. I also have Rise Sports Group, which is a sports events company. So it's a lot of work. My mind is always on overdrive, so always a lot of
Already,
thinking, and yeah, it looks. I mean, it's fun. It's cool to have a business, but the truth is,
yeah,
it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of your mental power. But I
definitely.
think if it's something that you like to do, I think it should be a little bit easier.
Because to be honest, it's not that easy. You want to be an athlete and also an entrepreneur, because all people that know an athlete usually focus truly on the sport itself. They don't really think
Mm-hmm.
of anything else. But for you, you actually commit to a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who are following Ridwan, I think also he's doing like podcasts on his own, which
Oh
is,
yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
number one. So sports podcast. I do watch sometimes. Yeah, it's a great content as well. All right. So second question. Of course, we are in Singapore, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I can easily say in other countries, like major countries, athletes, they actually get grants from the government, like they get support, from the government. So
Mm-hmm.
you, for now, you act as an individual. So what advice can you tell the youth out there, or anyone who wants to turn pro? Like, how can you actually succeed as an athlete in Singapore, based on our context country?
I think um I think a lot of people feel like think that going pro or being an athlete in Singapore is just about being able to focus just solely on being an athlete. But I guess to a lot of extent, or not, maybe I'm not so sure about other sports, but I'm so sure that boxing is almost impossible to do that. And actually, it's not just unique in Singapore. There are a lot of professional boxers overseas. They are also still studying. Some of them have corporate jobs. Some of them are lawyers even. Some of them are manual labor workers, but they are still boxing when they can. So it's very hard to get somebody to be able to just do boxing and rely on sponsorship money or a lot of prize money, which they can just focus on boxing truly. But I think most of us are still like struggling and just working the day job.
Right.
And boxing is not just a job; it's a passion. I mean, it's not. It's I mean, you can get rich from boxing, but in Singapore, it's quite new. And I mean, when we talk about Singapore specifically, you don't really have a strong sports culture, and the country is so small. So you need to really have the passion to want to do it because you love the sport. And I think eventually, if you can gain money from it, I think you will for sponsorship or things like that, winning medals for Singapore. I know Singapore gives prize money for like certain games like Olympics, Asian Games, Commonwealth, SEA Games. So I mean, some people look forward to those prize money, but I think most of us, and I mean, for me, is to win quality fights, to create a legacy. That's something that money cannot buy. I think that's what I like. For me, that's what I'm choosing for.
I like the point that you mentioned about legacy and also the passion, and also you need, if someone out there you want to like do continue your journey as an athlete on whatever you are passionate about. Of course, the number one thing, you need to have commitment. You really have to put time and effort, your sweat in that, and always
Sure.
never give up as an athlete. So there's a really important of values that you should have like as a person if you want to be pro athlete or like yourself, right? That's a
Yeah.
really good advice. Yeah. And one more thing, how do you keep yourself like consistent in persevering your journey in your career? Because I know there's your journey is not always beautiful, you know. There's always ups and downs, that sometimes you are at your lowest, but of course you, like I say, as an athlete, you never give up. You always try to prove people wrong, and you climb back up the level. And yeah, how do you keep yourself, how do you persevere in that situation?
I think I think a lot of people feel like when I'm doing this, it's about proving to people. But I think it's more of, to be honest, it's more of proving to myself that I really belong where where I am now. Actually, to be honest, I really just love the sport,
Yeah.
and I really respect the sport, and I know what it takes to reach the top. I mean,
Mm.
I am so lucky to be able to go like Vegas,
Yeah.
Philippines, Australia to see how the pros train, and it's been an amazing experience to hear their stories. And I think to know their side of the story, I know as a Singaporean athlete, I shouldn't complain. Obviously, we don't have the best facilities, we don't have the best structure when it comes to boxing. But I mean, we have the luxury of maybe maybe a comfortable life in a way. And I don't do things to prove to people. To like, if people say anything about me, it's not about, okay, I'm gonna prove to him or her that I can win or I'm better than what they think. It's more about proving to myself.
Yeah.
Because no matter whatever it is, nobody can have higher expectations for me than I have for myself. So I expect a lot from me. Yeah, and it's every day. It's not about proving to them. It's about proving to me that I can really break barriers, push, and like achieve the best that I can. Yeah, I think it's more about me. It's not never about them. But sometimes it just looks like
Yeah, that's right.
it's about everything else. But it's really about me, and I love the sport, and that's my main goal, to be the best that I can be.
So I can safely say, because every time, because you are considered as national athlete and also professional athlete, so of course every time you fight, the limelight is on you, definitely, like the pre-fight, during the fight, and of course like after the fight. So there will always a negative comment on your
Mm-hmm.
performance, and if you fail, definitely I'm sure a lot of negativity. People will look down, right? As an athlete.
Yep.
So is another great point from you that you mentioned that you don't really care about what people say. Like I know this word, they always say that you are your own enemy.
Yep.
So you always have to prove yourself, right? You like even if you fail, that's where you learn and
Yeah, that's why
climb
you
back
learn
up.
the best. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Actually,
The,
Actually, I do listen. I mean, I do sometimes when I can, I do read the comments, the negative, the positive, and I am not quick to say that, oh, this person say something bad about me. It's a hater.
mm,
I'm not the kind of person. I think it's more of if it's something constructive, I will like use it to my advantage. But
right,
if
right.
it's really nonsense, like it's like a personal attack from somebody who has no idea who I am as a person. Like for example, somebody can just say, oh, I don't like Ridwan, he's just arrogant.
mm,
But I've never met him in my whole
yeah,
life.
yeah,
That kind of comments, I really just don't care. But if it's something to do like boxing related, like maybe Ridwan is not fast enough, Ridwan
mm,
doesn't have a strong punch, I will just listen, take a bit of tips here and there, and then just work on it because it can be something good. So I don't take every feedback as a negative feedback, even though it sounds very negative.
mm.
But of course I don't waste my time to like read
Read
every
every
single comment
comment.
because it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, that's interesting that you actually you take that as a motivation, right, to prove yourself,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So of course we cannot control what people comment on you. There will always
Mm,
be backlash or negativity that you will face. I mean, in
yeah.
any industry, we're not only talking about boxing. Like even if
Mm,
you're an artist, if you act badly, definitely people will say bad things about you.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's really, yeah. And right. So another question. This is actually interesting because I understand that you pick up sports when boxing when you are 16, right?
Yep. 16,
Yeah,
17 around
that's
there.
quite. To be honest, at this current time, if you there's always this research they say that kids should always start young, like 4 to 5
Mm,
years old, like take up multi sports, then they know which sport
mm,
to continue when they grow up, right? But you don't have that chance. But you stumble upon because you watch the movie Rocky,
mm.
right? That's why
Yeah, I was
it
too
helps
much
you.
Rocky.
That's why it motivates you to try out the sport. But
Mm,
yeah, you are lucky now because you train hard and you prove yourself that you can do better than everyone else, and there you are. You achieve a lot of things in your life. So this question is basically is what will you do when differently when you are young instead of boxing?
I don't know, to be honest, because I've been doing boxing for so long. I cannot imagine me doing something
Did
else, to be
anyone ask
honest.
you this question before?
Not really, lah. But I think that time before I really got serious into boxing, I
Yeah.
almost signed on to be like a fireman or paramedic or something like that.
Ah,
So that was the life that I was ready to embark on
right, right.
until I got the call to represent Singapore in the SEA Games. So that's why I put everything else on hold and I
Mm,
said, okay, let's focus on this boxing thing. But I think if given a chance, I would still do boxing again.
right, right.
I will
So,
probably, I'll probably grind harder, grind earlier. Because when I was growing up, I mean,
mm,
we have a lot of seniors, but I didn't really get to communicate with them, to hear their stories and to learn from them because I don't know, time was very short.
yeah.
But with the knowledge that I have now, I wish that somebody have told me what it takes to be able to reach the top, so I can work harder earlier and not waste too much time making too many mistakes.
Mm,
Because I think if I learn faster, I could have cut 3 or 4 years and maybe I can be who I am now today 3 or 4 years ago. But it took me lot of mistakes, a lot of failing, a lot of
mm,
falling, because a lot of things I didn't know and I had to find out the hard way. So
yeah, yeah. But again, to be honest, boxing is not a sport that every parent want their child
Yep.
to practice, because the normal, this is because I'm a sports coach myself, so I know the normal sports that is basically is the safe sports like
Mm-hmm.
soccer, rugby, baseball, and these are all the sports that parents will choose at their early stage of life. So
Yep.
so basically boxing, I think when it's an individual preference, like when you grow
Yeah.
up, then you maybe like something like you watch a movie, then you want to be something like the actor in the movie. But
Yeah.
maybe for another person, they saw maybe a youth, they saw you on YouTube, or when you fight live, then they want to be someone like you. That's where they get the
Mm.
motivation. Yeah. So it's interesting how it works for sports like boxing.
Mm.
Okay, actually we have some questions from our Instagram. The first question, I'm not sure if you know this person, Speed Arman.
Mm.
Okay. He was asking what was your lowest low in this circuit breaker and how you actually overcome it. Yeah, this is actually our current context. We are in having this circuit
Yeah.
breaker right now. Yeah. So how do you actually overcome your lowest point right now?
Okay.
If there's
I
any.
think I won't say it's a lowest low, but I think the greatest challenge was to having to close down the gym,
Mm,
which means there's no income coming in for like 2 or 3 months.
right, right, right.
Our projects all got cancelled and
Yeah.
put on hold. And my fight, I'm supposed to fight for a title fight, and it also got cancelled and postponed, and we
Okay.
have no idea when we're gonna be able to fight next. So I think that's like is to be preparing for a lot of things,
Mm,
a lot of potential projects that can make you be more convenient, comfortable in life.
right.
Suddenly gets taken away from you. You know, this COVID like really just came and don't give any warning, don't give chance, and just come
Yeah.
in, take everything that you have. So it's not. I'm not saying that I've always been taking things for granted, but you know, I've been like, okay, I've always expected things to be as how they are. But
Mm.
sometimes, you know, no matter how prepared you are, I think life just kicks you down. And
That's
this
right. Yeah.
COVID thing actually makes people lose their jobs,
Yeah.
and we had to close the gym. So I mean, how what I did was I just tried to be positive.
Mm.
I think I channeled my energy to do like online training videos
Wow. Nice. Nice.
to still be like to share my knowledge
Right.
and people to share my knowledge with people for free. I don't charge them
Mm.
because you know, I feel like this is a chance to, you know, to share some positivity. In terms of income, I mean I've been doing like part-time jobs. I do grab food in the day. I do online personal training.
Right.
I also work at some warehouse for the night shift just to get by. And people always feel like when I post when I'm at my work at night, right, when I
Yeah.
post certain photos, people are like, what are you doing? Why are you working? You know, people always
They
associate
expect
me with
you.
like,
Right. Right. Right.
yeah,
The
they
stigma is
expect me to
there.
be like, yeah, they always think that I'm some high profile athlete and
Mm.
all that. I mean, my achievements might be high profile, but the reality is this is life. You don't
Right.
always, there's only like 1% or 2% of boxers that really made it and like drive Lamborghinis,
Mm.
get millions of dollars to fight. But the rest, we are all just doing it for the love for the sport and
Yeah.
just enough money to get by. So
I mean, that's the beauty of it. As an athlete, as in for you personally, you don't really like think much about money. It's more on what you are passionate at. Because of course at current stage is of course boxing. You're passionate at
mhm,
doing this. You even have a gym on your own, and you coach your clients. And people will always look at the achievement, but they focus on the
yeah,
highlight of your life.
highlights,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they don't really look at your journey, your ups and downs,
Mm-hmm,
those difficult times that when you need the
mm-hmm.
people, your when you need their support most, but they don't really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
So
will just say, "Hey, you're so lucky, you
yeah,
boxing. I
yeah,
wish I
yeah.
can be
That's
a
right.
boxer." Everything is about luck, but it takes a lot of years of sacrifice and
Right.
hard work and disappointment to be this lucky. So people don't understand that.
If you can't commit to a cause, it's very sad that you can't actually do like any athletes out there, like professional athletes. So you have to, of course, work hard, like you always do, train every night, every day. Okay, it's not that easy to call yourself a professional athlete. So mad respect to you, man. All right. Another question is somehow similar. Is basically is how you keep yourself motivated in during this circuit breaker. Like your business is not doing well. You have to close your gym down, and you don't even know the when you can get your clients back in the gym. And also this question they ask how you keep yourself motivated during this circuit breaker when you don't even know when your next fight will be scheduled, because you mentioned that your fight is cancelled, right, because of this situation.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in June, then it got
Yeah, yeah,
cancelled.
yeah. So yeah, how you
So
keep yourself motivated like that?
I think I'll always look forward to having my fights,
Mm,
the goals, to break records, to achieve titles that people have not achieved yet. I mean, in Singapore at least. But I mean, I love winning, but there's something that I love more than all of that I've just mentioned, and I really love the process.
mm,
Yeah, it's not just the destination that I love. I love the journey. I love the process. I love the work, the struggle, the climb, the disappointments, the
right.
rejections. Yeah, to me, it's an addiction when people like the process of the hard work, the waking up so early in the morning, 4 a.m., train, then go to work, then train again, work
Mm,
in the night shift, then go work again. It's, of course, it's uncomfortable.
right.
I hate it, of course, sometimes, a lot of times, but at the same time, I love it. So when I don't just focus on the end goal, which is the fight, I sort of am training not just for the fight, I'm training for life in general.
Mm,
So, and I think all these things that I've just mentioned sort of like keep me to be self-driven.
yeah.
Yeah, I think to be motivated, inspired is so easy. You on a YouTube video, you watch your favorite athlete, you play the video, you get motivated.
Mm,
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna go and train. So you need to be self-driven. You need to be your own competitor. And I see myself as my greatest competitor.
yeah.
And sometimes I find ways to be motivated. Like sometimes I read comments. I purposely just read comments about people saying something about another boxer being really good, and I feel
Mm,
like, oh, this person does not notice me enough. So I just need to work harder, work harder, work harder. That's
right.
how I just drive myself mentally, I think. So I create a scenario in my head where people are not recognizing me. They don't
Mm,
acknowledge my hard work, my wins, my sacrifices. Then they just overlook me. So I just use that as motivation to, like, I'm just gonna get better today. I'm gonna work harder. Oh, he work. If I know somebody posted they're gonna work, they run 10 kilometers. I'm
yeah.
going to run maybe 12, just for
I see.
just for my own competition. So I'm competitive and I'm self-driven like that.
Mm.
It has helped me in my career.
I mean, that's where the mental toughness
Mm,
play in this part, because as an athlete, because people will always think that you need to work on your physical strength. Basically, if you are a swimmer, of course, your hand, and if you're a
mm,
runner, your legs. But they always miss out this mental toughness or mental
mm.
resilience that as every athlete need to have this, because any sports that you do, you will always tend to have this mindset that your body asks you to give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Your
is
body
this.
will always give up
Yeah,
first.
actually, everyone
You need
can.
to train your mind.
Yes, that's exactly the line. You need to train your mind to become better for yourself, and also if you are an athlete, you have to prove yourself that you have to train your mind consistently, not only on certain days, and some
Yep.
other days you just slack off. That next time you can do it.
Mm,
That's not the case. Yeah. So last question will be on those that plan to be a pro athlete or pro boxer like yourself.
mm,
Maybe they look at you, they want to achieve something like your highlights, winning international titles, which I think that everyone is proud of you for doing that. So maybe give a short advice on the youth that are watching this. Maybe you can give them a sense of motivation for them to achieve what you already achieved in life.
I think before to the youths, before
Yeah.
you even decide to be a professional athlete or professional boxer, I mean, I know boxing better than any other sport. First, you need to learn is respect. You need to respect the people around you. You need to respect your dreams. You need to respect your goals. And when you respect that, you will understand the amount of hard work that is required. And when I say hard work, I don't only mean hard work in the gym, it's
Mm.
also hard work in outside of the gym, your lifestyle, how
Yeah.
you treat your parents, how you treat your family, how you treat people who don't like you. So you need to have all this package to
Mm.
really make it. And in terms of mental toughness, if you read stories of champions,
Yeah.
almost all of them have people doubting them because nobody thought they would win. For sure.
Mm.
Even Muhammad Ali, nobody thought he would win. Like Lewis Hamilton, nobody thought he would be the champion in F1,
Yeah.
or maybe David Beckham. Nobody thought they would have done it. But the thing that makes them different is because they believe in themselves before
Mm.
anybody else believe in them. I think that's one thing that you need to develop. And like you say, it's not a day. It's not something that you only practice one day. It's something that you build every day from
Yes.
hard work, from sacrifice,
That's
from
right.
like you're lazy to run. You say, okay, you run 5 kilometers every day, but then today I need to run 6 kilometers to
Mm.
make myself go uncomfortable, so I can break that barrier. I think
Yeah.
that's what we call mental training.
That's right.
If you are talking about boxing specifically, take the first step, join the gym. If you keep
Mm.
saying you got no money, I think it's no excuse. I'm a professional boxer
Yeah.
and I work part-time sometimes and I have my own gym and I still have to work part-time sometimes. So stop making that as an excuse. Don't feel like your mom or your dad or somebody else needs to pay for your gym membership.
Yeah.
Work, go to school, stay in school. And yeah, when you join a gym, you get your chance to compete. You work hard, surely there's a way. Your coaches will surely
Mm.
create a path for you.
I mean,
I think
that's
opportunities will only come when you're ready. If you're not, yeah, don't bother.
right, right, right. Basically, the most important thing is you need to know what you want to achieve in life. If you don't have that
Yeah.
goal in life, it's hard because
Mm,
you won't feel motivated. Because maybe you look in 5 years time, you see something that you are successful in something, and you will always have that in mind that you want to be that someone. Yeah, it's very important.
true.
And also I like the part that you mentioned that you are a well-known athlete in Singapore, and also you co-own a gym. You call yourself a coach and also entrepreneur. But it's not something that people think that you are. I mean, like you can sustain your own self. You still have to work on some
Mm,
other part-time job. This really open people eyes on this perspective that it's not only when I think because they look at your social media, then they
mm,
only see the good things. They don't see the back end of it.
yeah.
That's why.
I make it look easy. Lah. I make it look
That's
easy.
why.
I only show people what I want to show.
Right.
But in reality, I'm not saying I am poor.
Mm.
I am not basically I some days I'm struggling, especially when I
Right.
am going to my fight camp. It takes
Yeah.
a lot of cost, takes a lot of money,
Mm.
and obviously I don't want to owe people anything. I'm not out here to keep begging for sponsors.
Yeah.
So instead of just expecting for things to happen, I just go out, use my legs, ride a
Mm.
bicycle, send food, get some money, and I think I believe in my own hands and my own self to get some money. So if I can get some extra clients doing personal coaching, I would do that. So I'm not afraid of hard work. I've done a lot of hard work when growing up. So I've been there before. I've been broke before. So I'm
Yeah.
not scared of being broke again. So that's the thing about me. I'm not scared to hustle and grind.
Right.
I've done it before.
I hope everyone look at you as a role model because you've been there from the lowest, then you climb yourself up the ladder to who you are right now. And there's a feat that not everyone honestly can do, you know. Is something that you need to, again, like what we mentioned, we train your mind and your heart, and you have to be passionate on what you do.
Yep.
And of course, to conclude this, I just want to say this: you basically, our thoughts, belief, and our attitude, it shape our actions and behaviors in everything we
Yeah.
do. Yeah. So I hope you guys take this in mind, not only in sports, also in your daily life. Like what you say, as an athlete, you have your personal life as well. You have to commit on both way. You can't only commit on the
Yep.
sports, but when you go home, you don't really care about that. It's all
Yeah.
about,
You're gonna be selfish.
yeah, that's right. It's all about the values that you uphold in life. Yeah, that's very important. And you, of course, you have to stick to your values. Like you say, respect is a very strong value that as an athlete need to have, right? Okay, so thank you, thank you so much, Ridwan, for sharing with
Well,
us.
man, thanks for having me.